Hello everyone, I am Nivedita Jena from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation. Welcome to all of you to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. Today our topic is the structure and composition of lithosphere, hydrosphere and biosphere, and it's the part 3 of Unit 1. So let's begin. So the first one is lithosphere. It is believed the lithosphere evolved about 4.6 billion years ago, and it refers to the solid rocky crust that covers the entire planet. This solid rocky crust is composed of a number of different rocks that have been grouped into three categories based on how they are formed. These three groups include metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are formed by heat and pressure from pre-existing rocks. Then igneous rocks, the cooling of hot molten rock, also known as magma, forms igneous rocks. When the hot magma cools, it begins to harden, meaning once it has fully cooled, it creates what is known to be an igneous rock. Then sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are formed from pre-existing rocks when rocks erode and mix with other dirt, clay, and particles, then settle together, then mix together to form a sedimentary rock. And the lithosphere includes a various number of different landforms such as mountains, valleys, rocks, minerals, and soil. It is constantly changing due to forces and pressures such as the sun, wind, ice, water, and chemical changes. The Earth's surface is composed into two types of lithospheres. These are known as the oceanic and continental lithosphere. The oceanic lithosphere includes the uppermost layers of mantle, which is topped with a thin yet heavy oceanic crust. This is where the hydrosphere and lithosphere meet, and the continental lithosphere include the uppermost layers of mantle, which is topped with a thick yet light continental crust. This is where the atmosphere, biosphere, and hydrosphere meet the lithosphere. Then coming to hydrosphere, a hydrosphere is the total amount of water on a planet. The hydrosphere includes water that is on the surface of the planet, underground, and in the air. A planet's hydrosphere can be liquid, vapor, or ice. On Earth, liquid water exists on the surface in the form of oceans, lakes, and rivers. It also exists below ground as groundwater in wells and aquifers. And water vapor is most visible as clouds and fog. And the frozen part of Earth's hydrosphere is made of ice, glaciers, ice caps, and icebergs. The frozen part of the hydrosphere has its own name, the cryosphere. Water moves through the hydrosphere in a cycle. Water collects in clouds, then flows to Earth in the form of rain or snow. This water collects in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Then it evaporates into the atmosphere to start the cycle all over again. This is called the water cycle. And the hydrosphere refers to the most important resource, that is water. It includes all forms of water in the Earth's environment. And the hydrosphere is also home to many plants and animals, and it's believed that the hydrosphere covers approximately 70% of the Earth's surface. So, coming to the biosphere, the biosphere is made up of the parts of Earth where life exists. The biosphere extends from the deepest root systems of trees to the dark environment of ocean trenches to lush rainforest and high mountain tops. Since life exists on the ground, in the air, and in the water, the biosphere overlaps all these spheres. Although the biosphere measures about 20 kilometers from top to bottom, almost all life exists between about 500 meters below the ocean surface to about 6 kilometers above sea level. An origin of biosphere is has existed for about 3.5 billion years, and the biosphere's earliest life forms, prokaryotes, survived without oxygen, and some prokaryotes included single-celled organisms such as bacteria and archaea. Some prokaryotes developed a unique chemical process. They were able to use sunlight to make simple sugars and oxygen out of water and carbon dioxide, a process called photosynthesis. These photosynthetic organisms were so plentiful that they changed the biosphere. Over a long period of time, the atmosphere developed a mix of oxygen and other gases that could sustain new forms of life. And the addition of oxygen to the biosphere allowed more complex life forms to evolve, and millions of different plants and other photosynthetic species developed. Um, Animals which consume plants evolved. Bacteria and other organisms evolved to decompose or break down dead animals and plants. The biosphere benefits from this whole wave. The remains of dead plants and animals release nutrients into the soil and ocean. These nutrients are reabsorbed by growing plants. This exchange of food and energy makes the biosphere a self-supporting and self-regulating system. And sometimes the biosphere is thought of as one large ecosystem, a complex community of living and non-living things functioning as a single unit. More often, however, the biosphere is described as having many ecosystems, and the biosphere reserves notes that people play an important part in maintaining the flow of energy in the biosphere. Sometimes, however, people disturb the flow. For example, in the atmosphere, oxygen levels decrease and carbon dioxide levels increase when people clear forests or burn fossil fuels such as coal and oil. Oil spills and industrial wastes threaten life in the hydrosphere. The future of the biosphere will depend on how people interact with other living things within the zone of life. So then let's know about that how do the R spheres interact with each other. No sphere works on its own. All the spheres in the system interact and overlap. In the section, we discuss the various interactions that occur among the spheres. So the first one is hydrosphere and atmosphere. The evaporation that occurs in the hydrosphere forms the medium for cloud and rain formation in the atmosphere. The atmosphere brings back this water to the hydrosphere in the form of rain. Secondly, hydrosphere and geosphere. Hydrosphere provides the necessary moisture required to weather and erode rocks in the geosphere. The geosphere in turn allows the ice to melt and the water bodies to flow back into the oceans. And in third, atmosphere and geosphere. The atmosphere provides the required heat and energy for the breakdown and erosion of rock in the geosphere. The geosphere in turn reflects the sun's energy to the atmosphere. And in fourth, biosphere and hydrosphere, atmosphere and geosphere. The biosphere receives sunlight and gases from the atmosphere. It collects water from the hydrosphere and a living medium from the geosphere. All four spheres can often be found in a single location. For example, the soil may contain minerals from the geosphere, moisture within the soil from the hydrosphere, insects and plants from the biosphere inhabiting the soil, and pockets of air present between the soil pieces. From this, we can conclude that the complete system is what makes life as we know it. So for this part, that's it all. Thank you.